What the fuck are you going down there? Oh, we're live, baby. Oh,
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is it, boys. We are live. Wonder if anyone's watching us right now, but
50th episode. Someone's got to be watching. I'm watching.
we starting up now. We good?
Oh, boys, we're live, man.
All right. Yeah, Julie just sent me that link. I'll get out to everyone. But
Oh yeah, did we get that link? I'm gonna do this live. I don't care. Did we get that?
Julius, you're muted.
1 second, I'll send it.
Nice. All right, I'll look for it. But yeah, dude, we can start this up, boys.
I know, it's
50th
our first,
episode.
first live show. So this will be
Big one. There's gonna be a ton of trial and error in this show. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Everybody watching this right now just sees everyone's head down.
Oh, it says 2 people are watching.
Oh, boys.
Hello,
What's
2
up?
people.
Hello.
It might even be just like
It's like a
I
glitch.
just sent the link, Nick.
Oh, you sent the link. Oh, yeah, you did right there. All right. Well, while we're live and not doing anything, and all these people, all 2 people that are watching us are like, yeah, right there, dude. Let's go.
All right. If anyone's watching, sorry, I'm sending this out to everyone. So,
oh, that's us right there. That's my fault. Sorry, everybody. See, trial and error. Trial and error.
Here we go.
We gained someone. They're gonna be like, "What the hell kind of shit show did I just get into?" Well, we're figuring it out right now. We're figuring it out. But yeah, no, I think we're good to go.
Yes, sir. Hold on. Let me just send this out to a couple more people.
Next time we'll have this all set up before we jump in this.
Yeah. Apologies to any couple people straggling in right now. Okay. All right. I think we're good to go. All right. You guys ready?
Ready.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. This is Lions Brawl Podcast. Hopefully you haven't been just watching us talk for the last 5 minutes, but if you're jumping on now, you are coming in at the right time, ladies and gents. We are doing our first live show. So this is going to be a fun one. Nick was mentioning earlier, it's going to be some trial and error. So if we screw anything up, there's some weird noises, sounds. It's all part of the process, but just trust it. So we had a big day today. It was the last day of being able to place franchise tags on the players. So obviously, Kenny Galladay, Romeo Cora, they did not get the tag. We will dive into that a lot more in a bit. But my man, Nick, we always start the show with just a little friendly intro. So how is it going? And are you just as stoked as me to be doing this live show?
Ooh, live show, 50th episode. Come on. This is huge. This is big time. Been doing this for over a year now. We just surpassed 2K followers. Like, that's dope. We got our 50th episode. Probably my longest lasting podcast. I've done a few over the last 5 years, but this is probably the first time I've hit the mighty 50. So I'm very excited for that. I'm excited we got some people listening. Hello, what's up, everybody? I can't get where my hand. I don't know what to do with my hands right now. I'm excited, dude. This is plus not only all this, we have a ton to talk about. Like you said, Okora, Galladay, Brad Holmes talking quarterbacks. Ooh, we got a lot to talk about.
Man, he was on with Steve Wyche. Hopefully I pronounced his name wrong, right? But yeah, Brad Holmes answered a question on if, is number 7 a realistic spot for you guys taking a quarterback? And I'm just going to jump right in this, Julius, before I get to you. And Brad Holmes straight up was like, absolutely, 100% with the most confidence, enthusiasm. It was just great to see your coach confident in his picking spot and not showing his cards, because we really saw that last year with the whole Tua debate, even Justin Herbert. The Lions were picking at 3 with Chargers and Dolphins, both who took quarterbacks right after us, who literally clearly knew right out the gate we were not taking quarterbacks. So we were no threat to them. So if, for an instance, we do take a quarterback or don't show our cards, then it changes a lot. And honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if we had a trade go down with the Dolphins or Chargers. But Bob Quinn pretty much came out and said it a week before the draft that we were taking Jeff Okudah. It was on every draft board possible. Jeff Okudah. There was a couple with, Isaiah Simmons, but everyone knew it was going to be Jeff Okudah. So, Julius, what is going on, my man? And, how have you been doing? And are you stoked to do this live show too?
Oh, I'm super stoked. I'm so glad. I always love when our listeners get to join in on a conversation and give their hot takes to match our hot takes. I'm really happy about it. I'm glad to be talking Lions again. It's a lot of stuff going on. As a Lions fan right now, it's just, it's not a lot of emotion involved like it usually is. It's just like we're just stepping back and watching it unfold. And it's just, a collapse of something that was already pretty bad. And we're watching Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell just tear this thing down and try to rebuild it back up right before our very eyes. So it's very exciting. Glad to be live. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. All right. We have already getting some people commenting in the chat. So we got my buddy Alec wanting some hot takes. So I'll toss one out right off the bat. Hot take. I think the ultimate final decision for us not franchise tagging Kenny Galladay was that Brad Holmes was so confident in his drafting skill and the compensatory pick we were going to get from letting Kenny go, that third round 2022 pick, he would be able to slam dunk. And I think it's very possible. He drafted Cooper Kupp in the second round. We, seen it happen before with the Lions. We drafted Galladay in the third round. So it is definitely possible. So, Nick, give me some of your thoughts on, this Kenny Galladay, no franchise tag. Some of my comments, just let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, for everyone that's been listening, you've heard me go from do not tag him to absolutely tag him. I haven't been able to make up my mind. I truly haven't. It's been wishy-washy. I'm going to put my blind trust into Brad Holmes. As a Lions fan, it's just kind of what you do, and no matter what I say, it's not going to matter. So I'm going to trust here. I'm going to have faith that Brad Holmes knows something that we don't. Maybe he understands the age plus like the amount of contested catches that Galladay gets plus the lack of separation that he gets. Maybe it's those that ultimately led to the decision. It's the chance that he knows he can draft or go out and get someone that's going to be able to fill the void. It's exciting. It's a lot of fun what we're about to witness. The rebuild of the Lions behind Brad Holmes, I think, is going to be the Lions that we've all been wanting since the early 90s. So I'm really excited. I think the lack of franchise tagging this year is a little tough. Galladay, I'm okay with not having Galladay. Like, I'm okay with that. But Okora, I kind of wish we would have threw that on. And we'll talk about him a little bit, but I wish we would have threw that on him. But in regards to Galladay, look, I'm not angry about it. I'm just not. I'm not.
Was muted there. Had our first little issue going on, but it's going to happen. So, guys, yeah, I agree, Nick. The Kenny Galladay thing, it was kind of like a win-win scenario almost, because, if we do franchise him, we get to keep our boy Kenny Galladay's returning. That's awesome. We get to see him make plays for another season. But if we let him go, we get, a third round pick in 2022, likely. We save some money. And, Galladay isn't the youngest wide receiver. He kind of broke out, not right off the bat. He was a little bit older coming out of college. So granted, he seems like a young wide receiver. And, his last 3 years where he's really broken out makes it seem like he's, 26, 27. In reality, he's 28 years old, 29, I want to say. I don't know.
28, I think 29 when the season starts, or something like that. It's old for a guy getting a second contract. I can't buy into it really. But I mean, the thing, receivers really are starting to hit their prime now, 29 to 32. So it's not like Galladay's about to leave. Or not like he's leaving Detroit, but he's not about to leave the NFL. Like, he is gonna be good. We're gonna be sitting here Sundays or Mondays doing the show after a Sunday thinking, man, we really let Kenny Galladay go. But it's not about that right now, because we'll also be talking about a loss that we just had. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to be losing games next year. That's fact of life.
Yeah, right, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we kept Kenny and he made a play that extended a drive and won us a game against, against one of the crappy teams we play, like the Bears or someone. But Julius, give me some of your thoughts on the whole Kenny Galladay franchise tag decision, and ultimately, were you happy with it?
I'm gonna tell y'all this Kenny Galladay franchise tag situation, the way it played out, is just like I've been saying ever since Brad Holmes got this job. It's very not lion-like for them to do the things that they're doing. The Lions of the past would have tagged Galladay or gave him the 18, 19 million that he was asking for. But Brad Holmes, Chris Spielman, Dan Campbell, they have a different plan. They are going to break this team down to its bare minimum with the bases of DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, Jeff Okudah. That three-man, pillar right there. They're going to just start over around that. And I am totally okay with that, especially if we get in compensation picks, more draft capital, opening up more cap space. I mean, it's going great right now. Everything is going perfect. Like Galladay, I love you. Happy Galladays. Those commercials were amazing. But guess what? I need that cap space, Kenny G. You barely played last season. He barely played last season. People don't talk about that. He was week to week the whole season and did not play. Literally, he was a week to week. He was going to be healthy next week. It never
came. Like Michael Thomas.
He didn't want to, though. That's why. He did not want to. He quit on Patricia, just like everybody else did, just like we did. So this is the way it played out, and it's playing out great. Brad Holmes ain't doing no erratic, crazy stuff right now. He's doing exactly what needs to be done to build a winning team. And I'm glad. Unlike the Bears, who out there tagging Allen Robinson, just like my guy Freezemouth just commented in the chat. That's true. The Bears out there tagging Robinson, and we're not doing that to Galladay. I think it's the right move, though.
Yeah, and honestly, Robinson, he was upset about that. I think he really believed that he was going to be able to walk, and especially because the Bears did it in literally the last hour. It was the final 2 hours. They tagged, maybe 3 hours, but it was the last minute in which they tagged Allen Robinson. And then next thing you know, you go onto Allen Robinson's Twitter page, check out his likes, and he's liking posts that saying Kenny Galladay won free agency. And then Torrey Smith tweeted another one where he liked and said, the franchise tag sucks. So obviously he is displeased there. It's always nice seeing some trouble going on in the NFC North when it's, not the Lions, when it usually is the Lions. So it's good to see that. Go ahead.
I've said this over and over again. I think the franchise tag is honestly the worst thing in the NFL. It just needs to go away. Like, you can't just be like, you don't want to play for us? You're tagged, bitch. Oh, next year, same thing. Kirk Cousins, you're tagged again, bitch. Like, and the Redskins just tagged someone else for the second year in a row. They're one of their offensive linemen, Brandon Sheriff.
I think it's Sheriff. Yeah.
2 years in a row. Like, you can't just keep someone like hostage like that, and especially in the NFL. Like I almost think we're in like baseball, NBA. You can do that because the span of your career is so much longer. It seems like it's longer. I guess I don't know the specifics behind it, but in football, man, you got one contract. It's rare that you even make it to the NFL. It's rare you get a second contract. It's extremely rare you get a third contract, right? So you have one contract. You have now the option to get a second contract that could help, 4 or 5 years of your career at multi-million dollars. And now they're saying, not only do you have to trust yourself, but if you get hurt, like you're going to lose multi-million dollars just because we didn't allow you to go get your contract that you deserved in your first contract with us, team that we drafted. And because you're throwing us no love, we're throwing you no love, and we're going to tag you and keep you here hostage. That is a hostage right there. Like, I don't know what else. I need Jack Bauer jumping in here and trying to get these goddamn guys out because they're fucking hostages. And excuse my language, I'll try not to swear so much on now that we're live, but it's, I swear, like, you should not be able to do that. It's outrageous to me. It truly is. It's similar to like how MLB, like, you can hold people down for the first like half of the season and get another year out of them just by, and not allow them to play in the MLB, like make them play in the AAA. And I don't know. It's, some of this stuff, man, it's politics. I don't like it.
Here's the part where, if you like really want to get how dumb it is. look at any job in the world. Is there any job where you can be like, hey, no, you can't leave to go to the other hospital, or you can't leave to go to the other dentist. You're signed with us. We're placing the tag on you. Sorry. That doesn't exist. You can't just keep someone. If they want to leave, they ultimately have the power to leave. But in the NFL, I guess it's a business. Money's different. I guess, calling it the franchise tag deems you the franchise player or, the star player moving forward. But a lot of the times players get franchised for 1 year and then the next year they're gone. So it's weird. It almost shouldn't even be called the franchise tag, because more than not, the franchise player ends up leaving. So the Lions, we've been making some moves lately, not just leaving guys off the franchise tag. We've been making some cuts too. Not one super big, but we did cut a few guys. Christian Jones, he was the most recent one. Desmond Trufant, cornerback, kind of getting a little bit washed up. And then Russell Bodine, backup center. So a few guys we cut. Do you guys have any problems with any of these? Christian Jones was a bit of a surprise just because he was a starter last year, but $2.5 million, I like it.
No problem. No problem with Christian Jones. No problem with Bodine. No problem with Trufant. You could add a few more guys to shot block if you want to. The GM, what's the GM's name? I forgot his name.
Holmes.
Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. I'm getting so used to his not being Bob Quinn, man. I swear. I'm just so used to Quinn Trisha. But Brad Holmes, go ahead and just start cutting loose.
Yeah, I agree. That's what he really needs to do. And honestly, the next one up is probably going to be Chase Daniel. And he might not be cut, which is the best thing. He might be traded, which honestly, I think this shocked us all. News came in a few days ago that her teams inquiring about Chase Daniel on a possible trade, because I guess he's a very good mentor, learned a few things under Drew Brees. And, now I guess he's this seasoned veteran backup quarterback leader type guy that everyone wants on their team. So if we could get anything out of Chase Daniel, a 2023 7th round pick, I would take him, happy. So, anything for Chase Daniel, I will be happy with.
I wouldn't almost be surprised to see that, though, because in the tweet that came out about that too, it was very similar to what we talked about Drew Stanton getting a Super Bowl ring, being a fourth quarterback in the room with Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? It's because, man, Chase Daniel might not, be the ultimate player in any way, shape, or form, but he might be the ultimate clipboard player. You know what I mean? Like, he might be great guy to have in that film room. He might have a great guy to have in there Monday through Saturday with Jared Goff. He's expensive. Yeah, I want to get rid of him. I get this. But you're never too old to learn something, right? And so Jared Goff is still learning the NFL, obviously. And Chase Daniel wouldn't be, if we end up keeping him at the end of the day, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, because I think that tweet really brought out it's not just for having Chase Daniel as the backup quarterback, to have him be, instead of having some young kid that we could sit here and watch, kind of prosper under for a couple of years. It's not about that. It's about having someone in there who's almost another coach. It's a sneaky way to sneak another quarterback coach, offensive minded person into your team. And Chase Daniel's been in the NFL this long for a reason. There's reasons for Josh McCown. He already had an interview for a head coaching job. And it's not going to surprise me to see Chase Daniel get interviews for coaching positions very soon after he retires. So ultimately I do want to trade him for absolutely anything. But at the end of the day, if we keep him, I don't know. I've kind of changed minds on where last year I just bashed the signing. I bashed everything about it. Maybe there was something a little bit there. So I don't know about Chase Daniel.
You make a great point, Nick. Honestly, I didn't think about this either. And now that, you mentioned it, and I'm thinking about the Adam Schefter tweet and how the wording of it was. And now that you think about, because the whole joke about Chase Daniel was, man, this guy is living the dream, making $38 million last 5-7 seasons, just playing, riding the bench, holding a clipboard, playing maybe 2 games, 3 games, coming in as a reserve. I mean, that's the dream if you're not, a starting off player, in the NFL. So Chase Daniel, he doesn't make $38 million just for sitting on the bench. for nothing. Like there's got to be something extra. There's something more to what he brings to the table. So I think you're right, Nick. I think he probably is a good, mentor, backup coach, whatever you want to call him. But there hasn't been too many backup quarterbacks that just make that amount of money hardly even playing. So you got to imagine teams, are smart. There's probably, one or two teams that, did overpay for him, maybe the Lions, Bears, whoever. But at the end of the day, there's not 4 teams that have overpaid for this backup quarterback. There's been 4 teams that believed in what he could do outside of playing backup quarterback, and it only translated on 2 or 3. So at the end of the day, Nick, great point. Chase Daniel, I think we're in a win-win with this one too. If he comes back, so be it. If we cut him, we save the money. If we trade him, we, get the pick. So I like it all around. Finally, Lions, we are bringing back all-pro punter Jack Fox. That was good to hear. We put the tender on him, so he will be coming back, dropping dime punts for the Lions. He was honestly kind of the spark for us last year. Him and Swift were pretty much the only thing we had going or looking forward to. But
Jack Fox, Lions MVP, 2020 Lions MVP. Like there's no argument around it. I mean, I wouldn't even I would say him over Stafford, honestly. Like I really would. Yeah, Jack Fox was he was awesome. He was like the best special teams. Like even with I would say he's the best special teams player we've had since Jason Hansen. Like it was
when you can make punting fun and oh, we got Jack Fox punting, baby. Like that's how you have a really good punter. So
next up, get him on the Pat McAfee show. We got to get him on there.
I know, man. Evan Fox is a big Lions fan. He's Pat McAfee's right-hand man. So they share the same last name too. So just realized that too. So it's got to happen sometime. But maybe we get Jack Fox on our podcast first. That'd be awesome. So Jack Fox, if you're listening, come on.
Come on down.
Finally, our last bit of news, we got some Tyrod Taylor. He has been heating up a bit for the Lions. There's been some rumors swirling that maybe him and Anthony Lynn reunite. As of now, Chase Daniels are backup. But, if we let Chase Daniel go, I really think there's a legit possibility of us bringing in Tyrod as our backup. And honestly, I don't mind it. I think Tyrod, is a decent backup quarterback. I've always liked watching him. I'm a big Virginia Tech guy. So, I loved him when he was, playing for the Ravens. Every single time I would play as the Ravens on Madden, I'd sub out Joe Flacco, throw Tyrod in, always have to have my running quarterback. And I made it work most of the time. But either way, it's not a whole, big deal if we do or don't get Tyrod. So finally, let's get into the more franchise talk. We talked a little bit about Kenny Golladay, but we're going to dive into a little bit more. So ultimately, you guys know the Lions did not use the franchise tag on not just Kenny Golladay, but Romeo Okwara too. So I think we kind of all expected the no tag for Kenny G. But Nick, I'll start with you first. Were you shocked to see that, Ian Rappaport tweet out Lions aren't going to use the tag on Romeo Okwara?
It was a little shocking. And Julius kind of hit the nail on the head with just because we're used to that, right? We're used to showing like too much loyalty to a fault almost. And sometimes that's really not a bad thing. You always want loyalty. You really do want loyalty. But I am surprised. Like I really am, just for the fact that I get the big thing I think for this was that cap is going down, right? If it would have been a regular ass year, right? No COVID, cap continued to move up 25 million like it has been the last 4 decades or whatever it was, then yeah, I think we put the tag on Golladay or get a deal done, honestly. But with the cap going down at the amount that it is, all of a sudden we're going to see some interesting moves. We're going to see some interesting restructures of deals. I don't know. I don't think these guys are going to get paid as much as they would have. So I don't know. I'm interested to see. Shocked? No, but yes at the same time. Just because with the Lions, I'm always shocked at everything they do. And it seems like everything that they do never turns out right. So now it's like we're going to sit, and now I'm nervous almost. It's like, did we just let the guy who's going to be the best wide receiver in the NFL for the next 5 years, did we just let him walk out the door? You know what I mean? I'd be pissed, but it as a Lions fan, that's kind of kind of where your head goes immediately. At least, like, I got to sleep on this a little bit. I haven't even been able to sleep on it yet. So I don't know. A lot of wheels spinning.
Yeah, and ironically, the Lions aren't a big franchise tag team. We've only since 2005 franchise tagged Corey Redding, Cliff Averill, Jeff Backus, and Ziggy. So all three. Was Redding? You guys laugh at me. Was Redding offense or defense? I'm a little young for this. He was offensive lineman, right?
Defensive tackle, defensive end.
Defense. And you're the host of our Lions Brawl
Hey,
show,
man,
Adam.
I'm young.
You're young.
You old
like 16
Lions fans would definitely know the answer.
No, yeah, he was defense. He was good, dude. He was fun defense tackle, but he wasn't. What? Why did we even franchise say like Corey Redding? Like
he left the next year.
He was pretty good at what he did.
For like a year or two, like at least maybe my memory doesn't serve.
He wasn't dominant. He was just good.
Yeah, he was like he was coming after like Shawn Rodgers and stuff like that, and it was just like maybe the bar was set too high. I guess I love Shawn Rodgers.
I think he had a couple double-digit sack seasons, and then he went to the Cowboys and played pretty decent.
Maybe my mind is going.
It was a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. Adam doesn't even know who he is, so I'm all right.
All right, but yeah, so the Lions, I kind of, I don't know. I was expecting some sort of tag. Like, I guess my gut feeling was expecting one just because there was so much hype around it, I guess. And, it kind of felt like it. And not to mention, Okora had a standout year. He had a very, very solid year in producing, I want to say 11 and a half sacks. Not sure. But, Okora, he definitely had a career year. It's hard to say what he will do next because, he is kind of at a weird age. I think he's 26, 27. So he's kind of young, kind of old. But at the end, if we aren't going to commit to him 100%, I'm glad we didn't franchise him. If this was a thing that was like, well, maybe we could keep him next year, but probably not. We're just going to, keep him for this year. Then that would have been the dumb thing to do in my mind. So I'm glad we let Okora walk. Hopefully he ends up, on a good team. He's a good playmaker. I would like to see him succeed, but ultimately we're looking at a 3rd and 5th round pick in 2022 for these two guys. And now this is stacked on top of our extra 2022 first we got from the Rams. And, I think that's what Brad Holmes is going for. He knows we have nothing to play for this year. If we do anything good, it'll just be pretty much luck. So I think Holmes is kind of tanking this year in a way where tanking is kind of frowned upon in the NFL. So I think, we're going to see a bad Lions team. I really think we're looking at like a 3-13 year in which,
3-14.
3-14 year. Goff's probably going to be beat up. I don't expect him to be carrying the team, winning games outright himself, kind of like we did see Stafford do. So it's going to be interesting. But we're going to be heading into 2022 with a few extra picks. And in this draft coming up in a couple months, we're a bit shorthanded. We got our nice, 1st, 2nd, 3rd picks, but we only have, I want to say 5 picks, right? Maybe 6, 5 or 5.
6.
6 with the 3rd we just got. Yeah. Okay. So we had to trade for another pick. So we didn't have a whole lot before the Stafford trade. So, the Lions have slim pickings. So my initial thought is that Brad Holmes is completely set on this 2022 draft. If the Lions could somehow walk away with an extra first, if we had 3 firsts in 2022, that is the dream scenario. But Nick, I'll ask you this first. If we get some sort of offer where the best we can get is, a 5th round and a 2nd round, and either the 5th round in 21 or 5th round in 22, would you take that to move back?
A 5th round and a 2nd round?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. You got to give me a first. If not, I'll take someone at 7. There's good enough players out there. I'm not scared to take someone at 7. I trust Brad Holmes. So I'm not gonna trade back just because I want to trade back. It's ridiculous. You take the deal if it's a good deal. If not, you're getting drafted. You know what I mean? The movie. So you gotta take what's best, whether that's someone at 7 or trade back.
Yeah, so we'll jump into we had a question a little while ago on our YouTube chat. We got asked, what are the chances the Lions actually do make a trade? Talked about this a little bit on the last episode, but realistically, who are our suitors? I figure it's kind of Washington, maybe the Panthers move up, one spot. I think that's about it. Nick, am I missing anyone who would maybe San Francisco moves up? But
there's a ton of teams. Denver, Carolina, San Francisco, New England, Washington, Chicago. I mean, any of those teams, New Orleans.
Draft expert.
Any of those teams are going to be in conversation for moving up for a quarterback. Don't count out the back end either. Like New Orleans, teams of that nature. Like everyone wants these quarterbacks. This is a good year.
What's some realistic returns we could get? We had my buddy Logan ask that. So, Nick, throw out a team that's, could approach us for a trade, something that we could get back for it. And, would you be all on board? Would you be kind of on board, or, break it down?
Give me anyone's first round pick this year and anyone's first round pick next year. Add in the kicker, and not a legit kicker, but a late round pick.
I was like, I know Matt Prater's going, but a kicker.
No, add in a late round pick this year, late round pick next year, and that's what I want. I want first round this year, first round next year, and a late round pick.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, it sounds about right. What would be, Julius, what would be the farthest you would move back in the first round to acquire a 2022 first? So I don't know the exact draft order, but if we get offered like pick, 2022 and a first, would you take that for number 7, or is that not enough? I know Nick, you mentioned a little bit more, but let's hear what your thoughts are, Julius.
It really depends. The Lions are open to drafting so many different players in so many different positions that, depending who's available at 7, if this people, they're not sold on anybody, I'd take a first round pick for any spot in the first round, next 2022 first round pick. If you're sitting at 25, you want to give me the 25 and next year first, I'll take that for the 7. Add on a third or a fourth in there, and we're good. But that's a lot of value in the next year's first. But I don't think they're going to trade back that far because they're at 7. So, somewhere in the teens is realistic, probable, and I have no problem with trading back at all. There's so many options for the Lions. It's really a lovely thing to say. It's not very often we get to say it.
Yeah, it's a very different year for not just like the Lions organization, but Lions fans too. It's a completely different process than, what we've been seeing the last 5 years. And honestly, I think the Quinn Tricia era like erased the Caldwell and Schwartz eras from a lot of Lions fans' memory, just because it was so bad and it just sticks right in your brain of every wrong move Patricia and Quinn made. So it's hard sometimes to look super far back on what Schwartz first moves were, what Caldwell first moves were. So it's going to be a fun year. I think it'll be a fun draft, fun off season. I think the Lions are going to make some moves will definitely surprise you. I will say that. I'm not exactly. I don't think we have anyone that's we're pretty set on, but like I said, it's going to be a fun year. So, Nick, I brought this question. Actually, I didn't bring this question up. I answered this question on Twitter a little earlier in the day. And then, Julius, you actually gave an even better answer. So it was, now that Stafford and Galladay are gone, who's the face of the franchise? And I quickly jumped on and I was like, this is easy. It's DeAndre Swift, our stud running back, Hockenson, and maybe Okudah if he performs to, that first round top 5 talent. So, Nick, are you sticking with those 3 as the face of the franchise, or are you going a different route?
No, I would not put Okudah up there. In fact, I'd put Amani Aurori up there instead of Okudah. Like, Okudah is a top draft pick. Great. I do not want a top draft pick as the
first
face.
Hot Lions take of the day, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, baby. No, I would. No, to be honest, like it's Hawk and his hippie hair, right? It's hippie Hawk at number 1. Like, he's the face. And then like his 2, like he's right in the middle of the picture, and then his 2 other guys who are on the side of him is DeAndre Swift for sure, And honestly, I'm not putting anyone from our defense back there because our defense is fucking trash. It is the worst defense the NFL has ever seen before in the history, and I've said it many times.
If you guys were listening to our last podcast, you heard all those awful fantasy defensive stats.
Yeah, exactly. Terrible. But honestly, I'd put Taylor Decker up there, and that's because he's blue collar. That dude's blue collar. You get him with that paint, that war paint coming down that he's got every game day, tattooed up, just looking like he came straight out of downtown. He looked like he walked out of Greektown, right? He just looked like walking, and you're like, damn, look at that guy. And you're like, fuck, that's Taylor Decker. That's the other guy. That is, and he had a phenomenal year last year, snubbed from the Pro Bowl, ridiculous. One of the worst snubs I've ever seen in my entire life. He overperformed a contract that somehow Quinn Trisha got us a hell of a deal with that one. Like, I'm loving it. I'm McDonald's. I'm loving it. You know what I mean? Like, give me all the Taylor Decker I can, especially if we can go add in Wyatt Davis, Liam Eichenberg, Landon Dickerson. Oh man, add in another, and everyone like, hey man, we put out these mock drafts, and everyone's like, oh, put up the offensive line early. We got Tyrell Crosby and Big V, and I'm like, oh man, you don't watch the Detroit Lions. You watch ESPN, catch Lions highlights, and say you watch the Detroit Lions. If you're sitting here thinking Tyrell Crosby and Big V are going to do anything for this team, sorry, not sorry. Get me another offensive line. Get me him early.
Do you want to hear how bad Decker was snubbed? Yes. Trent Brown made the Pro Bowl over him. Trent Brown was just traded in a pick swap to the Patriots today of a 2022 seventh round pick for a 2022 fifth round pick. So the Raiders gave up a seventh in Trent Brown to get a fifth round pick in 2022.
Well, he wasn't the one that got put over Decker, wasn't it? Or do they not do AFC, NFC anymore?
He wasn't put over Decker, but
I see what you're saying. He made the Pro Bowl
with his stats, and clearly Decker had much better stats than that. So, Julius, I know you have the answer, so let's hear the real answer. Sorry, Nick.
Ignore the Pro Bowl. We ain't gonna have no Pro Bowlers until we have a winning team, or we just have dominant players like Calvin or Barry, which come around every now and then. Hopefully, we don't waste them. But, are you giving? Was the question about
the real face of the franchise?
Oh, the face of the franchise. Well, yeah, I answered it on Twitter. Earlier. It's real easy to say DeAndre Swift, Jeff Okudah, and who's the third one? Hockenson, of course. Can't forget TJ Hockenson. Those three that's our young core, so it's easy to say one of those three. It may even be popular or trendy or hot takey to say Jared Goff, because he is our quarterback, and the quarterback is the leader of the team. It's not far reach to say he could be our best player next season, statistically. I don't think he's going to have a horrible statistical season, even if we're bad. So it's not a reach to say Jared Goff, but I truly believe, and as the way it should be, the way they're building it, Dan Campbell is the face of our franchise right now. He is the face of our franchise. When he had that legendary press conference that took me out of my seat and woke up a whole fan base for the first time in decades, literally woke us up like, what? Kneecaps? What? Detroit? Yes. He became the face of our team. None of those young players have earned that yet. Dan Campbell earned that on that press conference, and we'll see what he do with it. We'll see what the face of our franchise, Dan Campbell, we'll see what kind of head coach he is. But yeah, I would give it to Campbell. Player-wise, I would, it's probably TJ Hockenson. I mean, he's our best skill player at this moment, with no Galladay and no Stafford. Swift is right behind him. Okudah ain't proved anything. You make a great point about Amani Arorie over Okudah, because really Okudah, Swift and Hawk has showed us they got the chops. Okudah still got to really show us. I mean, that pick versus Arizona ain't enough. I'm going to need to see a sophomore leap. But Dan Campbell's our leader going forward. Sorry for the rant.
No, I love it. And I think you hit the nail right on the head, and with Dan Campbell. And he is our leader, man. He is what we have going for the future. I mean, granted, we're probably to see Swift, Okuda, Hawkinson there for the next couple of years, but we're for sure going to see Dan Campbell, hopefully knock on wood, for, 3, 4, 5 years. So I really think that Dan Campbell, Julius, you changed my mind. I think that he is going to be, or he is the face of the franchise. He is the guy that, you want to put all your trust into. A couple months ago, it was Stafford, but not anymore.
And something we said last episode, if you guys haven't checked it out, man, when Campbell, or maybe we didn't mention, I think we did. When Campbell interviewed with Pat McAfee, that dude is hilarious. And Pat McAfee's talking about like his coaches and stuff, and Dan Campbell's like, well, yeah, it's interesting times. We're in COVID, and I got all these ex-players as coaches because I might need them to suit up. And it's like, oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like, I love you, Dan Campbell, and he could suit up. He could probably outperform Hop. I ain't gonna lie.
Right. I have Randall Will throwing some playing some little bit of quarterback for us if golf ain't ready,
Yeah, some Randall. Yeah, exactly, dude. We got Mark Brunell. We got lefty Mark Brunell, baby. We good to go too, man. We got everything.
Oh, we got Mark Brunell. Oh man.
Deuce Staley, Aaron Gallant, dude. We're good.
We got a squad. We got a squad of coaches.
That's what I said. We got a team within the team.
We got a team within the team.
2004 squad of coaches.
And I think what that's gonna bring is honestly fun. And not to get they're still going to get down to business when they need to, but in the locker room, it's not going to be the dictatorship of Patricia whipping, sending the crack, getting the crack.
It's going to be a party.
It's going, but to an extent. I don't want it to make it, because, man, we don't need any crazy, we got to win some games before we can party.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's all I'll say. But I do think there'll be like Madden tournaments with the coaches and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, just like instead of just the players, it's like you get coaches interact because they're not that old and they were just in the league 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like, they were playing against Brady and Rodgers and Nick Foles when he was with Philly and stuff like, you know what I mean? Like, these guys were playing in the league not too long ago. They were just there. So they not only do they know, like, from coaching standpoint, but they know how to see on the field. But I've said it many times also, and I'm just going on a rant now. It's got a lot of lack of experience in the coaching room. It's just a lot of these coaches haven't done their job that they're asked to do right now before. But that doesn't. I'm still happy. I'm excited.
Yeah, you make a great point, Nick. With all our ex NFL playing coaches, in which one thing I hope to see. I want to see one of these coaches either suit up or either get into some sort of drill. I mean, we saw Mike Vrabel, do it. I think there's probably been some other coaches that, get physical with the players, but I want to see one of our coaches get, do some sort of drill, tackle a player, do something like that. And if they do, man, the respect I will gain for that coach, because, there was not a chance any of the new or any of the past regime would do that. Matt Patricia, there's no way he does any type of, drill or, workout with the team. So I think we're going to see Dan Campbell. We already did see it. He was doing down-ups with the Dolphins when he took over in Hard Knocks. He's
in the weight room with the players. He's in the weight room. Yeah.
So he's almost like one of the boys, and he's embracing this culture, and I love it, man. I like to see this kind of like young new era culture in which we're seeing with a lot of these coaches, Cliff Kingsbury, Sean McVay, there's a bunch of other ones, but I like it. I'm stoked for the future with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. But
I agree. 45 minutes in, have we even talked about Romeo Ochoa yet?
We did a little bit. We're going to talk about him a little bit more. So free agency. It's going to be a little bit more interesting for us now that we passed on Ochoa, passed on Kenny Galladay. We have, I guess, a little bit extra money to spend. We did go out and get Tyrell Williams already. We're bringing back Mike Ford. That's nothing too big. Just want to mention that. And honestly,
I disagree with that. I think that's a big steal right there. Mike Ford is my boy. I think he plays hard, and I think he was one of the best ballers on the worst defense.
He's a good special teams player. I'll throw that.
He's got heart, dude. I like that dude's good.
He can play cornerback. He can play.
He's got good hair too.
And what better than Mr. Mike Ford playing on Ford Field?
Exactly, dude. Get him a Ford F-350.
Played into his return of Detroit. But Let's talk of some free agents. Who is one guy, Nick, that you would like to see us replace with Okora? So there's a few guys out there. You mentioned a couple episodes ago, Hassan Reddick, but now there's guys like Bud Dupree who got his or who was passed on his franchise tag as well, coming off a torn ACL, but he was having a pretty good year. Had 8 sacks before he tore it. I want to say like week 10, 12, something like that. It was in like the third quarter of the season. So he would be a guy that I would not be opposed in bringing in. I think we could get him at a reasonable contract due to his injury. And, ACLs aren't like what they used to be. ACLs do not end careers right now. ACLs, honestly, with the new technology, new medicine we got, you can come back pretty fast and still be your normal self. We literally saw Adrian Peterson come back and be better after
that was an anomaly.
I will say, granted, Adrian Peterson is a robot, freak of nature, but we're seeing. I can't think of any players right now, but I'm going to pull up, Nick. So give me one guy that you'd like us to see replace with Okora. Yeah,
I want Romeo Okora back. The hell, we just drafted his brother. They got to play we got to play 1 year under the worst defensive coach in the world. But great. That's terrible. Man, I was so ecstatic to see these boys like just kill it for years. Okora did everything he needed to do on the worst defense. Man, dude had 10 and a half sacks, I'm pretty sure, on the worst defense. Like, come on, man. Why do we not? I want to bring him back. Just because we didn't tag him does not mean we aren't bringing him back. That does not mean that, in my opinion. Kenny Galladay, yes, it does. Okora, it does not mean that. I still think there's a deal that could work out. But if we have to get rid of him, yes, I want to spend all my money on Hassan Reddick. I said that a couple episodes ago. Give me everything about Reddick. He is on Twitter looking for a new team. We already tried to get a little flyer in there, said, hey, we're open. Come on down to the D. The D is open. We got some good restaurants, good stuff. Come on down. It'll be a lot of fun with Campbell. Hassan Reddick is the man that I want. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Go spend the house on him. Why not? You know what I mean? Like what are we gonna do here? Like I don't even know. Like we're probably not gonna win a lot of games. But here's the thing: we keep saying that. But that's because we're sitting here thinking like, well, there's no way we're gonna win games because Matthew Stafford is not gonna be able to throw the ball out. That don't matter, in my opinion. Honestly, we saw the emergence of Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker last year. Added another offensive lineman. Let the fifth offensive lineman kind of be swapped around between all of the depth pieces that we have. Run the ball.
All right, Nick.
100 times.
Anomaly this. Carson Palmer, torn ACL. Next season, his best season ever. Jason Kelce becomes the first center after Jason Kelce becomes the NFL's best center after he tore his ACL. Let's keep going. Chris Harrison bounced back, became an all-pro cornerback after his torn ACL. John Ross, he's still a bust. But John Ross he still can run very fast after he tore his ACL. Jeremy Maclin, first 1,000-yard season came post-ACL tear. So
we got 5 players that do good and probably 5,000 ACL tears a year. So I'm still going to just probably not try to go after him. Who else was released? There's someone Carlos Dunlap, I'm pretty sure, right? He was just released. I mean, there's a lot of names out there for sure. Let's keep it young. Yeah, he's a little bit older. Let's keep it young. Let's not try to go after these big names. Honestly, I don't want any big names. I do want Hassan Reddick, like I really do, but I really wouldn't be upset if we don't get him. Let's keep it young. Let's keep it small. Let's
what are your
not
thoughts,
go over.
Julius? Give me some of your thoughts on Shaq Barrett. He was one of the guys that was tossed into our YouTube chat. The Bucs have decided they're going to franchise tag Chris Godwin. They re-signed Levante David already. So Shaq Barrett could be a legit option in which he leaves or finds a new home.
Julius, before you jump in, I know you want to talk about Shaq Barrett. Shout out Travis Faber. That's my little brother. Right on. All right, go ahead.
What's up, Travis? Thanks for the Shaq Barrett question. But I wouldn't mind Shaq Barrett, but I don't want to pay too much for him. I still think he got some production. He's 28. I don't want to pay him like crazy edge money, like Von Miller edge money. If we can get a discount for him, I would love it because I think he's one of the best, if not the best, edge rusher available. But if I want to go a little younger and possibly a little cheaper, I'm looking at guys like, and by the way, with Okwara, I'm not totally upset that we didn't re-sign him because he seems like a pass rush specialist, maybe a 1 or 2 down guy that if depending on what he was looking for money wise, I wouldn't want to give him all pro money if that's what he wanted.
He's looking at around 19 million. That's what it said. His projected.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with Aurora 19 million a year. I feel like we could take that money and either sign or draft somebody else.
My bad.
He's kind of like Galladay
is looking at 19.
He's kind of like the defensive Galladay in a way where I really like him. I know that he's good, but I don't want to pay him crazy amount of money like he's elite. So if that's what it was with Okwara, I don't have a problem that we moved on. Now, back to what I was saying about guys we can replace him with. Guys flying under the radar we can get for cheaper, like Trey Hendrickson from the Saints. He was a late bloomer. He's only 26, and he had a monster season for New Orleans last year. And, if we can get him on a nice contract, put him opposite Trey Flowers, mix him around in the middle, we'll get some interior pass rush. He did real
great duo.
Whew. He played for Aaron Glenn on the coaching staff, Dan Campbell. He has that familiarity. We talked about him. We talked about Henderson. Watch out for him. Also, one more guy, Carl Lawson from Cincinnati, also only 26 years old. He was 4th in pressures in the whole NFL last season with 64 and was one of the highest graded PFF edge defenders as well. He's good, and he's flying under the radar, and we could probably get him for cheap. Now, these flying under the radar probably can get for cheap guys, not totally cheap, but a little cheaper than, the high end, maybe what Shaquille Barrett might want. I don't have a problem with that. Hassan Reddick, I kind of don't trust. I don't want to give him too much money either. Honestly, if I'm Brad Holmes, just play little smart bargain moves with veterans and free agency and be amazing in the draft. And we could take this thing away in a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Save our money for next season. Y'all got what I'm saying? Don't overspend this year on a bunch of guys trying to put together a team that might win. No. Accrue draft capital to the ceiling and be smart in free agency. Save your money so when we got a team full of young studs in a year or two with all these first round draft picks we getting, we can add free agents onto it, have one of the highest caps in the league, and really make a team that can go out and win.
This is what Quinn Trisha did to us, man. We're all scared now. We all don't want to go out and spend money. We're like, we just spent money on Justin Coleman, Trey Flower, Chase Dan. You know what I mean? Like, we just spent so much money on free agency. Like, it's not, like they just mortgaged our future, dude. They mortgaged our future, and they just sucked the
I will say it could be worse. Bill O'Brien, completely.
If you listen to the chat, you watching YouTube live, you cannot trust the Lions. The Lions can't trust themselves until we see it on the field.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Julius, you bring up a great point on Carl Lawson. He posted a picture a few hours ago of him in the gym, and he's looking like a big boy. I'll show it for you guys. Kind of,
he's a beast.
That's great.
Beast. He'll make a great
behind the Lions background.
That looks great.
He'll make a great strong side D in opposite Trey Flowers. He would. I just don't want to give him $100 million.
Yeah.
But hey, if he'd take 60 mil, maybe we could talk.
Yeah, it would be interesting. But Julius, you mentioned Trey Hendrickson, so I will dive in on him a bit. He was a late bloomer in which, he came in with this 2017 insane class that the Saints drafted, in which they literally went 4 for 4 somehow on like getting a pretty much Pro Bowl talent players. And so they couldn't keep them all. So they kind of had to let Trey Hendrickson walk. He has ties with not just Dan Campbell, but Aaron Glenn too. He had a breakout season last year, 13.5 sacks, 25 total tackles, only appeared in 15 games. So he didn't play the bonus 16 one. But if you look at his previous 3 years, he had only appeared in 13 games, and that was his max, and that was in 2019. So 13 games in 2019, he had 19 tackles, 4.5 sacks. I assume he wasn't playing as much, but he was getting a little bit more respected. And then if you go all the way back to 2018 and 2017, he doesn't really play a whole lot. In 2018, I don't know if he was injured or what, but he only appeared in 5 games, 6 total tackles, no sacks. And then his rookie year only appeared in 12 games, 13 total tackles, 2 sacks. So the Saints gave him the play time, 15 games. And what does he do? Post 13.5 sacks with, I want to say he had like 20 some pressures on the quarterback. So Trey Hendrickson, I would love to see that double Trey duo going on for the Lions. He's a guy that is still, relatively young, and this could be the guy that he, was supposed to be. He's just a late bloomer. I know the NFL is a little bit different with, players in which typically late blooming doesn't happen a whole lot, but it can happen. We have seen a couple guys, granted, these are offensive players about to mention, but like Devontae Parker, Corey Davis, who right in their 5th year just blew up. And now, they might have something. So that's how I feel with Trey Hendrickson. I feel like he finally got things together, finally got it down, and now has the confidence in himself and is playing his best football. So I would love to see us bring in Trey Hendrickson, but
he did it right on his contract. We are not bringing him in. We are not bringing in Hassan Reddick. They both finished in the top 4 in sacks. They are gonna get paid out the butt. They're gonna get a lot of money, and it don't matter that he was a late bloomer. It don't matter that this was his first year. The dude just posted 13.5 sacks.
I don't know though, Nick. I don't know though, because the cap is supposed to be a lot lower than the league.
I know, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's supposed to be a crazy year. You're right. I don't know.
It's gonna be a weird year. It's gonna be a weird year. Guys are gonna have to take less money, and teams are gonna be cutting a lot of guys. So it's gonna be a lot of movement. It's actually a good opportunity for Brad Holmes, actually, in this market and with no expectations for next year. So
I almost feel like I'd rather have a veteran GM at this year. Like you're gonna have to be able to strategize. You're gonna have to figure some shit out.
A lot of money next year, and
yeah.
if
we
Brad
all do,
could just build a cheap Pistons type team. You know how the Pistons are this year?
Yes.
A bunch of young guys and a bunch of cheap vets. Maybe they got Jeremy Grant, they could dangle at the trade deadline because he didn't playing good. That's what we need in Detroit next season. We need to save our money and be prepared and start building a team from the draft. That's the only way. Free agents aren't going to come to Detroit unless we win. Simple as that.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much enough said with that. The Lions aren't exactly the sexiest free agent destination unless we pay out the butt. And as of right now, we can't exactly do that, nor do we want to. So all in all,
what is the Lions salary cap going?
We're at 12 million right now. So we're 5 million under the league average of 17 million, 19th overall.
Okay, well, I'm glad you had that right up, because I was hoping you'd tell me something a little bit better.
Do we got another question in the chat? Do we got one more question in the chat?
Let's see.
Who's got the question? My bro. Do we sign another wide receiver? Oh, man, I even texted you guys. My dad was like, we're going to sign Will Fuller or Allen Robinson. Obviously not Allen Robinson. But by the way, and for everyone listening, my dad just randomly predicted.
You mentioned that.
What? You guys didn't see my text message? Oh,
no,
man.
But you didn't bring it up on the show, the golf.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't bring it up on the show. Yeah, my dad called that a couple weeks in advance. I don't know how he does it, man, but he crazy. But so he called for us to sign Will Fuller. Sign a wide receiver, though, honestly, give me some Curtis Samuel. I've been saying that for a while. I want Curtis Samuel in my life.
You know who I want? I want Rondale Moore, who I mentioned last episode, who is honest to God, I never watched tape on this guy. I was just stat watching, and I saw some highlights, but I just watched his full, all his highlights, all his tape, spent a couple hours on it yesterday. And oh my gosh, this guy is literally like a Tyler Lockett / Curtis Samuel player. He's fast. He's short. He's speedy, and he's also kind of big and bulky. I mean, he's got some power to him. There was a lot of plays where he was trucking people, keeping on his feet, and I was just loving it. He's like almost a bigger Golden Tate, honestly. And
Steve Smith, you know what I mean? Steve Smith 2.0.
That's who I was thinking, but I didn't want to praise him that high. So
Jared Goff does need that. Exactly.
It would be perfect for him. So Rondale Moore, I'm really starting to like my mock draft now. And yeah, let's bring that up before we head off the show. I posted our mock drafts. Nick, you won with, I think, 58%, and then me and Julius were fighting it out for second place. But I will say, I had a little bit better percentile than I was expecting. I was expecting 10, 12% just because I'm not a draft expert and I took Fields in the first, but I had some boys behind me. I had 20 something percent on board with my draft. And I even saw one comment that this made me chuckle. That was like, Adams by far. And then the person commented right underneath and was like, Nick's by far. Like, what are you talking about, dude? And I was like,
no one said Julius is by far. I'm just joking. No, but for real, if Justin Fields is there at 7, I don't care what the offer is. I don't care if the Panthers come say, we'll give you the 8th pick, next year's first round pick, and the next year's first round pick. Give me Justin Fields.
If we took Fields or any quarterback at 7 and a team was trying to call our bluff, trying to say, no way they're going to take quarterback. No, not happen. We're not going to offer. We take the quarterback, and now they're like, oh, crap.
This is what I said we should have done last year.
Now we really have to pay up. And yeah, Nick, you literally were preaching that all last year. Draft Tua no matter what. Like, I don't care if he's going to be on our team. The trade value it's perfect. Someone will want to trade for him. Someone will have to trade for him. And I think we're seeing a similar situation. And with
it's the difference of like Mac Jones is the outlier, right? Mac Jones is like that 5th quarterback. But the difference of Trey Lance and I don't know, whoever you want to put after Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, I think is like the leader. The difference is I can't think of the right word. That's how big it is. Like, I can't even think of the right word.
Astronomical.
Like, exactly, dude. Exactly. So I think it's especially if, like what I said last week, Brad Holmes keeps putting out these smoke screens every single day. We're getting a quarterback. I love these quarterbacks. I want these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks daily. I want a Brad Holmes tweet every day saying, "You're coming, quarterbacks. We're coming for you," every day. Because if he doesn't do that, we saw what will happen. It's Bob Quinn. No one's going to buy into it. No one's going to try to trade up. But if he instills in everyone's mind that he's taking a quarterback, man, we are going to get some offers that could light the sky.
Yes, sir, man. That's what we are ultimately looking for. So, Julius, you got any thoughts on our wide receiver situation? We going to add someone late, or what are you thinking?
Well, we obviously got a lot of work to do. All we got is Quintez Cephas at this point.
And Tyrell.
Well,
I forgot about Tyrell. Man, they're on pace for 300 targets, dude. I can't wait.
Man, but we got Tyrell Williams, Quintez Cephas. We're going to need a few more guys. So free agency, draft, wide receiver is going to be in the mix. First round, second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round. It's going to be in the mix. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, though, even if we draft a quarterback, we still need to think about Jared Goff, and Jared Goff is not bombing the ball out 60 yards stretching the field. We need some guys who can run after the catch, and Rondale Moore would be perfect in that role. So would Curtis Samuel. And it's not hard to find a guy like that in the draft. Running back, wide receiver hybrids. Like you said, Golden Tate, Adam. Jared Goff could use a guy like that. So wide receiver is in the mix. Quarterback is in the mix. Offensive line, defense.
We got a lot on the table.
Linebacker,
yeah.
Cornerback,
maybe
tight end. If you're looking at Kyle Pitts, if you want to make him a big receiver, everything but running back, pretty much, and kicker. Every other position, let's go. Let's see you, Brad Holmes. You the draft guru. That's what y'all told me about Brad Holmes. He was a draft guy. So I'm not even thinking about free agency. I want to see him get the draft capital and use it to build something that Dan Campbell can motivate into a winning team.
Yep. And, that's pretty much the formula in which we've seen in like the last couple of years. We've seen a lot of teams make it to the top fast. And it's not through free agency. They don't go out and sign the big name contracts unless you're going out and getting Tom Brady, Gronk, Fournette, Sue, like the Bucks did. But you got to do it through the draft ultimately, unless you nail some generational talent, which is highly unlikely. But it's going to be an interesting one. So, you guys got any last words before we wrap it up here?
Go Lions. After the show ends, the YouTube live is going to stay going for a few minutes. Just a little wrap up. If anybody watching wants to, throw a few more, just chat with us after the show ends. We're going to stay live on YouTube for a few minutes before it ends.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, if you haven't checked out our YouTube yet, I don't know, if you listen to this podcast, go check out we got a YouTube page now. Give us a subscribe, some comments and feedback, whatever. And if you're watching the YouTube, go head over to iTunes podcast and give us, a review on there and subscribe on there too. Always helps us out. We always appreciate it. And as always, if you're a social media guy or girl, check us out on Twitter at myself, everydayffb. Check out Julius on Twitter at the Fifth Top, and check out Nick on Twitter at Nick Faber NFL as he's doing the wave. I love it. And as always, check us out on Instagram at Lions Brawl. But I think that's a wrap, boys. First live episode in the books. I'm sure there will be more to come. But
50 episodes up. 50
thanks
episodes
everyone for joining
to
too. So this is the big 5-0. Didn't even mention that at the beginning of the episode. So for you guys, stay until the end. You guys are awesome. You guys are the extra cool Lions Brawlers. And this is just the beginning. We're really on something big. We're getting better. And also, I think you could be seeing a jersey giveaway, not a signed jersey, but a pretty sweet, badass, real jersey you can wear out in public. It'll be coming soon. Make sure you check out our Twitter page for that. But that's all I got, boys. We will catch you all next week.
Go Lions.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know how to. Are we still live on YouTube?
So we're live on YouTube, but
we're live on YouTube, but I stopped the recording.
Okay. Sweet, cool.
No, that was awesome. Shout out Travis, my brother out there, keeping the comments rolling.
Definitely.
Freeze move.
Your friends to listen next week.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Have a real conversation. I really appreciate everybody listening.
Yeah, for real. Like that was awesome. That was awesome. That was the first live show we did. We had a ton of comments. Oh, that was good.
I'll check the analytics, but I think at one point we had like 12, 13 viewers. So
I'll take that for day one. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Double that next one. I'm gonna try to. What I'm gonna do now, and what we all should try to do is throughout the week, each one of us go pull a clip of ourselves and screen record it on your phone. Whatever clip of yourself talking.
Before,
exactly. So but now we can do it without just a podcast with like the logo in the back. Now it can be like us talking. Pull up that video clip. Be like, this is my thought, or this, I'm from the Lions Ball. This is Julius's thoughts on. Dan Campbell being the face of the franchise, and a quick 10-minute or 1 minute, little clip of the show or something. Adam, you do find one of yourself, throughout the week, and I'll find one of myself throughout the week. So then we got three different tweets throughout the week promoting the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end this live stream. Thanks everybody for watching.
Peace. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, we'll be back live next week and every week from now on. And tell your friends to listen and watch out for our links. Watch out for our shows. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Go Lions.